3,850 pounds, a 192 RBS Freedom Express, originally sold right here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan to its one and only original owner, just coming back in on trade. They were so happy with this, they were so happy with Haylett's and the Coachman family of campers, they just wanted a bigger camper. They just swapped up to a larger Apex Ultralite here at Haylett RV, the sister cousin, which, maybe not the prettiest of phrasings, but to the Freedom Express series. Despite the popularity of this layout, we don't see a lot of them on trade because this is the kind of camper that people get and they like it so much they just don't usually swap out of it. And a quick look with the slide out close before we get going reveals that this RV is 100% fully travel accessible and functional. You can even walk around the bed easily. There's no, like, you don't even have to climb over the corner of that bed. You lose nothing with the slide closed. You're just going to really appreciate the extra room you get when it's open. So I mentioned that this tends to be a camper that a lot of people hang on to long term. I think longer than people expect because this is a smaller camper. A lot of times people buy this little thing thinking, okay, I'll use this for 3 or 4 years and find out what I like, dislike, and go from there. And this is one of the rare instances in which someone swapped out. So why do people like it so much long term? Couple reasons. It's a small camper that's good for big people with a 6'9" interior. That's 3 inches taller than the average bear. Now you might notice that also means that we have a taller slide out, which allows them to have storage in the slide as well as a nice breeze window above that sofa right there. This also has an 80-inch queen bed. So like I said, it's good for big people. This floor plan is completely carpetless, ventless flooring. It is easy cleaning, pet friendly, ideal if you like to kind of camp off grid or, you know what, I've been in a lot of different campsites, especially all around here at Michigan, and some of them, like the campsite next door to you, it's covered in pine needles, and your campsite might have sand, and I mean, there's weird geography, topography, whatever, you know, dirt around here, and it's nice to have that ability to get this thing clean quickly and easily. The storage chest, I guess you will, under the bed is completely separate from the front pass-through, and you might have noticed a little free-floating table sitting on the bed. Under the bed here is the ideal place to get to store that thing. Now, I probably should have dropped the bed before I walked up here, but I think we got enough room. We've got dual element reading lights. Freedom Express, maybe they weren't the first brand that ever did this, but they were one of the first brands that I ever saw. So if you want to make it a reading light or a nice visible spotlight, you have the ability there. You may have noticed all the original electronics are present and accounted for. That TV can that's going in the highlight reel, obviously can pivot over to face the seating so it's not a neck wrecker. It can turn toward the bed. And if you are so inclined, you could watch TV from the toilet on this one right here. Now, our countertops are a material called a sealed-edged pressed membrane thermal foil. The sink is also a stone cast sink, not a like cheaper plastic sink. At a glance, you can't tell the difference, but the thing here is that this sink basically has a coating that can withstand up to 500 degrees of heat exposure before it starts to have any sort of hiccups or issues or whatsoever. Now, not only is the RV taller, carpetless, easy cleaning, but it's got great storage for a little trailer. And good storage in small campers, those are two things that don't normally mesh well. Now, this is a bag with all the original owner's manuals. We provide our clients here at Haylett RV with a handy little tote bag to keep all that stuff organized and in one spot. And you can see how it sinks in behind that cabinet. The cabinet's actually a little bit bigger than the door. Plywood drawers all the way down to just above the furnace. It doesn't go all the way to the floor, but plenty of storage again for a little trailer. And then, one of my favorite features, the sink around utensil drawer. This drawer actually wraps, obviously, around the sink basin, as the name implies, with a removable insert inside. So you've got the perfect place to keep all your forks, spoons, and knives, while still having plenty of room down here for, you know, your dish soap or anything like that. Now, at a glance, you're thinking, yeah, but it doesn't have a place for a wastebasket. And that's because they already thought of that. And it's these kinds of little touches that really are, it's the kind of stuff like the sink drawer and that little wastebasket, the taller interior, the longer beds. That's the stuff that really kind of originally made me fall in love with Freedom Express RVs, because they do such a good job of doing everything that matters and nothing that doesn't. Like that pantry right by the door. The refrigerator, I mean, obviously we're going to talk about how the whole RV is travel friendly, but that fridge right by the door. If you want to walk in, grab a drink, hop back out, you don't have to go tracking dirt or anything through the entire RV. Now this is a small, shallow slide but it obviously opens up a lot of living area in here. And as we already kind of alluded to the fact, it has a little portable table that you can use for what my buddy Greg Homestead from Michigan here calls the Dinofa. And as much as I'd love to take credit for that name, because I love mashed up Frankenwords, Greg's actually just a Haylett RV viewer, just like you folks at home right now, or maybe on the bus or wherever you happen to be watching us, since, you know, we are nationwide and mobile friendly. But, you know, I love our viewers. I like how you've really become a big piece of the pie here at Haylett RV, and how you've kind of helped propel us forward along the way with things like just contributing simple names to cute little features like this. So anyway, thank you, Mr. Greg. The idea here is that this is a couple's camper, and most of the time, you're not going to want to come in here and sit at a dinette. But with this little folding table, the two of you can sit down and have a meal and still be able to watch TV pretty much anytime you want. Now, if you have guests, you've got plenty of floor space here thanks to the slide. You could easily put a couple chairs on the other side of that table, have 4 people here, play around a card, shoot the breeze with a friend, or just enjoy some fresh airflow coming in through that sliding airflow window behind you. And whether it's a big dog, a little kid, or an unruly husband who's going to spend a night sleeping on the couch in the fetal position, you can always fold that sofa down for a little bit extra sleeping space. And you might have noted the pleated shades there to give you some privacy. Also good for keeping heat out of the camper. Foot flush stool, taller ceiling means taller shower with surround paneling and a skylight. So even a big, goofy goofball like me can fit up in there. And I like the fact that we have a full medicine cabinet, not just a mirror glued against the wall. But as we come down here, more of that sealed edge press membrane countertop stuff. And another little thing I like in these Freedom Expresses, it's tiny stuff, but tiny stuff makes big differences. They got the bigger paddle switches so that if you are just kind of, like when you're tired, if you got to use the bathroom at night, you're just sort of slapping around the wall. It's easier to find this switch with your hand, although smacking the wall like it did, you're still probably going to wake up your spouse. Outside here in the pass-through storage, a couple things I want to point out. First of all, you have full-length lighting running the entire length of the pass-through. A lot of trailers will give you one little light over here on the campsite of the RV because they think that you'll see that when you're shopping. But this is not made just for shopping. This is made for actual using, which is also one of the reasons why it has an indoor-outdoor picnic table included with it. You can see that aluminum skeleton work going on in there that helps kind of give you the full structure of the Freedom Express as well. So even though that table inside has a sealed edge, and you could bring it outside if you wanted to, I don't know that you really need to, since it has its own 2-foot by 4-foot picnic table. I suppose theoretically you could bring them both outside or inside, have a big old buffet smorgasbord or whatever works for you. But that's what's cool about these guys. They've included those extra little daily use features. You know, that's the kind of stuff like if your significant other squeezes toothpaste from the wrong side of the tube, it's the stuff that drives you nuts. Freedom Express is focused on providing that daily use stuff that you're really going to want and appreciate long term. Neat little detail here too is how the spare tire is actually tongue mounted, so that you leave the rear bumper open if you want to add accessories. That also does help a little bit of load equalization, which in English means less bouncing, wiggling, jiggling. Now, the skin of this thing looks fantastic. Decals look great. A lot of sheen, a lot of gleam left on here. And there is something I want to discuss going on under this fiberglass. Like, I can walk right here down the sidewall and I say, man, look how shiny that is, and don't it look great? And it does. I mean, it's not like that's a worthless thing to talk about. By the way, the tires look fantastic. But under the fiberglass, the layer directly under the fiberglass of the sidewalls is a material called Azdel. And if you're not familiar with it, it's a resin compound. It's not Luan wall panels, not wood. And Azdel itself is 50% lighter than wood. It cannot rot, mold, mildew, has a little bit better insulative qualities. It also is a little bit more noise dampening. Now what all of that means is that this trailer is able to be taller without being heavier, and it's able to stay lighter, you know, as a result. Not lighter, quieter as a result, and keep you more comfortable inside. Larger entry handle is always good for coming and going. And you see, this is just 2 entry steps, but it's because this is a smaller trailer. It doesn't need a heavier chassis. Quick note for you, One of the differences on this Freedom Express versus today's Freedom Expresses here at Haylett RV, this does not have any sort of underbelly enclosure heating treatment. Whereas like a 2020 that we'd have here on the lot at the time of this filming today would have those things. This was built, however, with that optional slide-out Coleman camp grill right here, and these are completely free floating, so if you want to use it on that picnic table that's included, you can. If you want to use it right there, you can. Just do whatever works for you. And power awning, it's as long as it can be, because if you notice, it starts at the rear wall and goes right up front to that taper, and there is LED lighting below it. Overall, ladies and gentlemen, I am very pleased with what I see here, and I think you come to review it in person, take it home, you're going to be very pleased as well. This is a brand of camper I personally have a lot of respect for, that I like personally, not even just professionally. Like, I look at the way I would camp, the way I would use an RV, and this thing speaks to me. Like the way all the hookups are centralized in the rear corner, the taller ceiling, the bigger bed. I like Freedom Expresses, and I think you give them a chance, you would too. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone. Oh my God, well, there's another one leaving right over there. Jeez, oh Pete.